Okay, this is the summary video for the 2018 paper. You should have by now finished the paper and gone through the solution. So I'm just going to tell you some things about what I think about the paper. Overall, I think the paper is slightly more on the difficult side because of the longer questions, right? So you just look through question 1. I think this is easy. You should get it. This one is easy. You should get it as well. This one, most of you, if you don't make careless mistakes, you'll get it, right? Question 2, again, something easy, right? Should be able to get it. Question 2B also relatively standard for you. Okay, C, you have to think a bit about the shape of the graph, okay, because you're not so used to displacement time, but again, I feel not beyond your capabilities. Right, so you can see that the front part is relatively easy. This is also easy. Right, this one maybe is slightly tougher. Alright, so this is where maybe a bit tougher, but I think you should get at least 1 mark out of 2 lah. Should be able at least talk about friction, right? In terms of forces, I think you should know friction is something you need to bring in. Definition, again, easy, right? So you can see relatively easy stuff so far. Memory work, this one is slightly tougher, right? So this is where the paper gets slightly harder, right? So this one may not be so easy, right? So you can see there are very few difficult questions so far, right? Again, this one you should be able to do. It's about presentation and being able to answer the question. Okay, it's not so much about whether you know the content or not. Most of you know the content, right? So again, doable, right? And again, doable. Right. So again, not difficult, I believe. Okay, again, easy, relatively easy. Right. This is where it's slightly tougher. Alright, this one is also easy, I would feel. This one is maybe slightly higher order. Right, but again, doable. Right, I'll skip this question first because we haven't covered in syllabus. Right, finally, this one. This one you may have to think a little bit, assuming that you've never seen a question like that before. But I believe you should be able to do it. Okay, gamma rays, you may have to think a bit because you have to link to EM waves, the fact that gamma rays carry no charge and therefore will go straight through. So this one is tougher. This one should be doable, it's quite standard. Alright, so you can see paper 1, section A is relatively manageable. Okay, section B is where it's slightly tougher. Alright, so it starts off easy. So remember that not all data questions, not every part is difficult. Okay, so this is a free 2 mark, right, to boost your morale, so to speak. This is where this part I admit that is a lot of information, right? Most students will get very worried when they see this, right? They'll see this table, right? Then if you cannot start here, you will start to panic already. Alright, but I think most of you should be able to start with this, alright, and probably even carry on to this, alright. It may take you some time, and as I said before, if you get stuck here, right, I would not spend too much time here, right. If I get stuck, right, I'll just straight move on. Then I'll try. If I'm stuck, I'll move on, right. Why move on? To tell you the reason why is because if you look at all these parts, if you can't do this part, right, this part is most likely going to have some issues, right? Even you ECF some marks over here, right? Because they are sort of interlinked. Then you look at this part. I don't think it's so easy as well. Okay, not so easy. You have to like digest a lot of information. All right. This one is again not easy because you see the 3.5 hours, right? A lot of students will forget this. All right. And finally, this one again sort of depends on your front parts, whether you can get the correct answer or not. Okay, so this database question, I would say, is slightly on the tougher end, right? But it's actually doable for your level. Okay, I'm just saying that if I hit a database question like that, I will probably do what I can and then move on, right? Then you look at question 10. Question 10 is also somewhat like a database question, right? Let's not talk about these two parts. I think it's easy for most of you, right? This is where it starts to look like a database question. Again, you read a graph, right? So here, not too difficult. I think it's doable. You can do it, all right? Here also doable, all right? This part may be slightly harder. You may have to think a little bit harder, but note that they're very nice, only 1 mark. So this is a higher order question. Okay, so yeah, so you can see that between the two 10 mark questions, right, I think number 9 is harder, right? So number 9 is harder, then number 9 is harder, number 10 gets easier, and number 11, I hope you can tell, is the easiest question. If you look at the either or question, this one you can score, 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 right? This one you can score also, right? Basically, as long as you memorize this one, right, this more or less a 10 marks free question for you. All right, and then you look at the all question, it's just a pure lens table question, right? Again, not difficult. All right, this one is you kind of specialize in this kind of things lah. You cannot tell me you don't know how to do this, right? This one is looks hard, but actually if you come to think about it, quite easy. This is the part that maybe you need to think a little bit more about. But if you know how to draw the lens examples in the textbook, again, not that difficult. Again, reliant on the lens table in the textbook, right? This is a free 3 mark. So you can see the either or are both easy to do. All right. So I would finish the either or. I'll decide whether I want to do the either or first lah. Then after that, I'll go back to the database question, because once I've done this, right, then psychologically I'm in a good place. I'm a little bit more calm knowing that I have finished all the easy questions. Then now I have the headspace to just deal with the difficult questions. Whereas if you're at question 9 and you try to take too much time there, you will start to worry, hey, can I finish the either or question? What if I run out of time, so on and so forth? Right? So time management is key. All right. So again, when you select either or questions, what I normally do is this. I'll take maybe 3 to 5 minutes to read through the whole question first. I'll just tick off what marks I can get. So like if I know, oh, I'll get this 1 mark, 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 I'll get this 1 mark. Then I'll think, oh, maybe I didn't memorize this super well. Anyway, this one, maybe I'll just leave it as 800 lah. Okay, otherwise it looks confusing. Why 800 to 1000? It should be one distance, just 800 meters, all right? And you probably should draw a diagram lah. I'm a bit lazy here. It's not a good thing, right? So you just draw man A, man B, maybe the distance between them, all right? But as I said, this is a rare case where you may draw a diagram. It's not so relevant. Normally, you should draw a diagram, okay? Anyway, back to the point. As I was saying, let's say I look at this and I think, maybe I can get 3 marks because I never memorized properly. So I'll get 9 out of 10 of these. Then I'll look at the all question. I'm like, yeah, this one I can get, this one I can get. So it's 2 marks. And if you took the time to just think a little bit about this one, right, you realize this is free 3 marks. The only point where I think you may worry is this one. Now, this one, some of you, if you're not so familiar with lens table, you might not get. But this one, you should be lah. I really feel that. That's why I feel that the either or question in this context, either one you do, is actually sort of a free, more or less free 10 marks. You get 8 or 9 out of 10 normally. Right? So that's how I'll pick the either or question. I won't spend too much time deliberating. I'll just go through the either and or. Then I'll just in my head think, oh, either I can do 8 or I can do 6 maybe. Alright, then I'll just decide to do the either. Right? So I won't spend too much time thinking about it. Yeah, I'll just do one. Normally the difficulty level should be roughly the same for it to be a fair paper. Okay, so with that, that's the strategy regarding this paper. I would say this is a slightly higher than normal difficulty O-level question, O-level paper, all right? But it's still manageable. You can see that there's no question that is so hard that is beyond your capability.